Donald Trump just wrapped up the GOP nomination, and MSNBC isn't taking it well.
They're increasingly, from the Tea Party on, they're voting on race. They're voting on this idea of an invasion of brown people over the border. The idea that they can't get whatever job they want. A black person got it, therefore drive all the blacks out of the colleges, get rid of DEI. That is what they're voting on. They're just voting specifically on racial animus. At this stage, it isn't about economics.
No, which is why Trump killed the immigration bill.
Correct.
That's why. And because otherwise he can't run against the other and brown people and people who don't look like him, like his supporters, his base of supporters, coming across the border and scaring people and killing people or whatever he's threatening out there. I mean, if you look at some of these exit polls, I mean, I live in Virginia. Immigration was the #1 issue. I mean, again, these could change in Virginia.
Well, Virginia does have a border with West Virginia. Very contested area.
Build the wall.
Like, what?
I can't believe that all these years later, they're still doing the all Trump supporters are racist thing. And the way that these MSNBC hosts, from Jen Psaki to Joy Reid to Rachel Maddow, the way that they discredit voters' concerns about immigration is just so ignorant. I'm going to break it all down, but first, I'm Brad Palumbo, and welcome back to Mediaite, your home for commentary and coverage on the intersection of politics and media. If you're new here, please do consider subscribing and sticking around, and maybe even turning on those bell notifications. Now, I want to briefly touch on the first part of the clip you saw. These progressive cable news hosts would have you believe that everybody who just turned out to vote for Trump so far in this Republican primary is just an evil racist concerned about brown people coming into this country. Give me a break. Are there some racist Trump supporters? Yes. Has Trump said some racist things over the years? Also yes. But to try to claim that the reason that millions of Americans are still supporting this man is just because they're all evil and racist is an inaccurate oversimplification and a vicious smear. I mean, drive all the blacks out of college? What is Joy Reid even talking about? If she's referring to the Supreme Court decision against affirmative action, well, there's not really much evidence that that's actually a motivating issue for voters during this primary. And regardless, that's about ending racial preferences in higher education admissions and ensuring a colorblind process. You might disagree with that, but to call it driving blacks out of college is a bizarre straw man. More broadly, they can repeat this myth however many times they want, but it's just not true that Trump supporters are all just voting because of their racial animus. On the contrary, CNN exit polls show that in many of the recent primaries, their top issues include the economy, immigration, abortion, and foreign policy. And the only one of those that can even plausibly be linked to race is immigration. Still, even on that one, it is not at all inherently racist to be concerned about the border crisis that we have on our southern border right now. The numbers really are alarming. As Pew Research reports, encounters between border agents and unauthorized migrants hit an all-time high in 2023. And those are just the ones that they stopped. There's surely countless more that got away. What's more, hundreds of individuals on the FBI's terror watch list have been encountered at the southern border. And again, these are just the ones we know about. So I was particularly disturbed by the way these MSNBC hosts seem to sneer at voters' concerns about illegal immigration. In particular, the way that they seemed to dismiss that Virginia voters could possibly be concerned about the border just because Virginia isn't particularly close to our southern border.
I mean, if you look at some of these exit polls, I mean, I live in Virginia. Immigration was the #1 issue. I mean, again, these could change in Virginia.
Well, Virginia does have a border with West Virginia. Very contested area.
Build the wall.
Like, what?
Are they not aware that illegal immigrants, once they enter the country, don't just stay in border states? They do, in fact, spread out throughout the country. Just days ago, an illegal immigrant in Virginia was charged with assaulting a minor. But MSNBC hosts apparently think it's ludicrous and hilarious that anybody in Virginia would be concerned about immigration. To be clear, there are some data that actually suggest that illegal immigrants commit crimes at lower rates than native-born citizens, and many of them are just peaceful people who want to come here and work. But there are legitimate security concerns to be had when people are entering the country and we don't know who they are. And it's utterly detached from reality to sneer at and dismiss voters' valid concerns about our immigration system. MSNBC can keep this up if they want, but they shouldn't be surprised when their credibility with the public continues to dwindle. Alright guys, that's it for this video. Thanks so much for joining me, and please do consider subscribing and sticking around, and maybe even turning on those bell notifications if you want more highlights and lowlights from the latest in political media. And if you're still here this far in the video, you must have found something interesting or insightful, so please do consider hitting that like button and commenting with your thoughts below. And with that, I'll see you all in the next video.